Hey everybody, it's Irene again down in the studio with BrainStormAcres. I hate it when you have to cut off other things in order to get to something. It happens sometimes. Fails. That's all junk, but trimming off that extra piece makes it easier to pack into the melting furnace when you go to melt things. So, as you know, sometimes if you've ever used a clipper of some sort, sometimes when you cut with it, it flings things across the room, and I'm trying to avoid that. I have to be careful not to get my fingers too close. In case anyone's wondering what this is actually a sprue cutter. But we have found that most of the pieces I cast are too large to be able to use a sprue cutter. I can use it on pewter pieces and some of the really tiny little silver pieces. But yeah, that was one of those things that we just didn't find to be as useful as we hoped it would be. Now this, unfortunately, is one of those annoying spots where you kind of have to get a saw in. These are also mounts, like I showed you the star ones before. Except these are pineapples. Pineapples have a lot of historical significance. They're a sign of welcome. So that's what these are, pineapples. I think I'll just shave these off with a saw. I am working on the process of trying to figure out how to do this in a more automated fashion. I haven't worked out all the details right yet, so we'll see, maybe later. It would be nice not to have to sit here and use a little hacksaw. Well, it's really good for building up your biceps. Sometimes you just don't feel like you need it. Well, that does not want to come off yet. So we'll help it. There we go. See, 3 nice little mounts. This one here is actually not perfect. I'll just toss that in there for now. See, there's the investment. Goopy looking. This is a pelican medallion. Okay. In sterling silver. I'm going to start the next part of the process. These need to go into a tumbler and get clean. And then we'll see what's salvageable and what's not. If we discover that one of the medallions that I thought was perfect, because it's perfect on the front, is got a weird bubble on the back. That's a new one on me. I have never had that happen. So I will probably not try to repair that one. This is just a random piece that came from when the flask blew up. Boom.
Irene's down in her studio taking some jewelry pieces apart that were cast yesterday. There's a lot of questions that she has about why some things failed, and she'll figure that out. I've come up with a way to connect the Christmas tree that comes out the top of the vacuum pump to one of these press connect fittings. Well, let me go ahead and get a little bit of this cleaned up, and I'll bring you right back and we'll go about doing this. I've been looking for an adapter to go between this vacuum pump and the wax injector that we're busy building out for Irene's studio. And I just haven't been able to find one. I'm pretty sure that if I went down to Phoenix or some other place that's relatively far away, I could probably find something that would work. The problem with that is it's a long drive, which is money, and then the parts are likely to be relatively expensive. I looked at building my own adapter and actually machining it out of brass, which I could do. I'd need a special tap to cut threads in that fitting for this press to connect fitting. And that's about a $35 part. Oh, and oh, I also need to have a die that will adapt to the threads on this side. Now, unfortunately, none of these threads are exactly standard. Well, they're standard, but they're not readily available. It would cost somewhere around $80 in taps and dies to actually build an adapter. So I decided, since I hadn't been able to find an adapter that's brass that I could go ahead and just screw everything together, that I would try an alternative. And what I found was a piece of tubing that fits over the threads that go into the vacuum pump. Fits very tightly. I had to screw it on, which is good. Now, that's not going to be really airtight. In other words, I'll be able to have air suck in through here because I can't make it tight enough, which is why I was looking for an adapter to begin with. But I'll be able to put a hose clamp on this portion of my jury-rigged adapter, and on the other side I can put one of the press connection fittings in here. I'm just going to go ahead and put this together now, and when Irene's done down in the studio and we have some time, we'll go ahead and plumb this vacuum pump into the wax ejector, and we'll see if we can get that finished off. One of the things you find a lot of times when you're taking apart low-priced products, or even products that aren't exactly low-priced, is that some pieces have to come off in a specific order and it's not necessarily obvious. Well, in this case, it was pretty obvious to me that the handle had to come off because I couldn't turn this Christmas tree with the handle on. Now we'll see if I can put this handle on. No, I can't put the handle on because it's going to interfere with the plastic tube. Well, I haven't put the hose clamps on, so I'll just go ahead and take that connector off and start screwing this in. The handle's on tight enough now. I'll tighten that up later. I'll go ahead and remove these nuts and screws that are in the vacuum pump so I can put the plastic housing back in place. I'm ready to tighten a few things down, put this press to connect connector in here. I need to go down to the workshop and grab a couple of hose clamps. I'll tighten one around here and one around there. All said and done, this piece of plastic tubing cost about $1.29. I bought 1 foot of the hose. It isn't going to be perfect. The hose can collapse down some because it doesn't have enough rigidity. I don't think that wax ejector is going to take a lot of vacuum. I think this is going to work just fine. If it starts collapsing, I still have time to find an adapter. I'm not giving up hope because I really want to have this entire system set up with minimum possibility of a failure due to a failed component, a leak, or anything else like that. Well, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications because we're doing a lot of stuff here on the homestead right now. Getting the wax injector going. Irene's busy cutting pieces off the sprues that she made so that she can get them prepared for sales. And we have Rufus the service dog in training. We'll talk with you later. Bye.